What happens when centuries of royal protocol meet genuine human emotion and two people simply let go of everything expected of them to share a moment of pure joy? The footage that recently emerged from Crown Princess Victoria and Prince Daniel's private vacation has sent shockwaves through royal watching communities worldwide, and for good reason. This isn't your typical carefully orchestrated royal appearance or meticulously planned photo opportunity. This is something far more valuable, far more real, and far more telling about who these two people actually are when the cameras aren't supposed to be watching. Before we dive deep into this extraordinary moment and what it reveals about one of Europe's most beloved royal couples, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because we bring you the most captivating royal stories from around the world, the moments that matter, the details others miss, and the analysis that helps you understand what's really happening behind palace walls. Hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments section, and share this video with anyone who appreciates seeing the human side of royalty. The video in question shows something incredibly rare in the world of modern monarchy. Crown Princess Victoria, heir to the Swedish throne, and her husband Prince Daniel are captured dancing together with an abandon that feels almost revolutionary when you consider the constraints typically placed on royal behavior. This isn't a formal waltz at a state dinner or a choreographed first dance at a wedding reception. This is wild, uninhibited movement, two people completely lost in the music and in each other, moving their bodies with a freedom that seems to transcend their royal status entirely. Victoria's demonstrative affection toward Daniel in these moments tells a story that official portraits and formal appearances can never quite capture. She reaches for him, moves with him, responds to him in ways that speak to a deep physical and emotional connection that has only strengthened over their years together. Understanding why this footage matters requires understanding the context of who Victoria and Daniel are, both as individuals and as a couple. Crown Princess Victoria stands as Sweden's future queen, a woman who has spent her entire life preparing for the weight of the crown. Born into royalty, she has navigated the impossible expectations placed on those born to rule, managing to maintain her humanity while fulfilling duties that would crush lesser spirits. Her journey has not been without challenges. She has been open about her struggles with eating disorders in her youth, a vulnerability that actually endeared her to the Swedish people because it revealed the human being beneath the tiara. Her commitment to physical fitness, her extensive education, her genuine engagement with the causes she champions, all of these elements have created a modern royal who understands both the gravity of her position and the importance of authentic connection. Prince Daniel represents something equally revolutionary in the world of European monarchy. Born Daniel Westling, he came from entirely non-royal roots, owning a gym where he trained clients including a young crown princess who would eventually become his wife. Their love story is one of those rare fairy tales that actually happened in real life, though the path to marriage was far from smooth. Daniel faced intense scrutiny, underwent years of royal training, had to prove himself worthy not just to Victoria's family but to an entire nation. The fact that he eventually won over both the palace and the public speaks to his character, his dedication, and the genuine nature of his relationship with Victoria. He underwent a kidney transplant, donated by his father, just before their wedding, a health crisis that added another layer of depth to their bond and showed the Swedish people the vulnerability and strength of the man who would stand beside their future queen. Their relationship has always been characterized by a warmth that feels genuine rather than performed. In official engagements, you can often catch small moments, a touch on the arm, a shared glance, a private smile that suggests the depth of their connection. But those moments are still constrained by the formality of their roles, the ever-present cameras, the awareness that they are representing not just themselves but an entire institution. What makes this vacation footage so compelling is the complete absence of that constraint. This is what Victoria and Daniel look like when they think no one is watching, when they're simply being themselves, when the weight of the crown is temporarily set aside and they can just be two people in love enjoying a moment together. The dancing itself is joyful and unself-conscious in a way that feels almost defiant given the usual expectations placed on royal behavior. Victoria moves with complete abandon, her body language open and expressive, responding to Daniel's movements and the rhythm of whatever music was playing with genuine enthusiasm. Daniel matches her energy, engaging with her in a way that speaks to their comfort with each other, their ability to be playful together, their shared joy in simple pleasures. These are not people going through the motions of affection for public consumption. These are two people who genuinely delight in each other's company, who have built a relationship that can withstand the extraordinary pressures of their position, who have found ways to preserve their authentic connection despite living in a goldfish bowl. The demonstrative nature of Victoria's affection in this footage has particularly caught attention because it contrasts so sharply with the restraint typically expected of royals, especially those in direct line to the throne. British royal watchers are accustomed to the Windsor family's famous stiff upper lip, their careful maintenance of emotional distance in public settings. Other European royal families maintain similar protocols, understanding that monarchy requires a certain performance of dignity that can feel at odds with spontaneous displays of emotion or affection. Sweden's royal family has generally been more relaxed than some of their counterparts, but even so, there are still expectations and boundaries. What this footage shows is Victoria completely disregarding those boundaries, not in a way that seems reckless or inappropriate, but in a way that asserts her right to be human, to express love for her husband, to experience joy without filtering it through layers of royal propriety. The location of this private vacation matters too, though specific details have been kept deliberately vague to protect what little privacy royal couples can claim. The very fact that they were on a private vacation, away from official duties, creates a space where different rules apply. This wasn't a working trip disguised as leisure or a carefully staged photo opportunity designed to humanize them for public consumption. This was genuinely their time, their space, their opportunity to decompress from the relentless demands of royal life. The fact that footage emerged anyway speaks to the reality that true privacy is almost impossible for people at their level of public profile, but it also gives us a window into who they are when they think they have that privacy, and what that window reveals is deeply heartening. Royal marriages have always been viewed with a particular kind of scrutiny because historically they were often arranged for political advantage rather than personal compatibility. Even in modern times, when royal couples generally marry for love, the pressures on those marriages are extraordinary. They live under constant observation, their relationships analyzed and dissected by media and public alike, their every interaction in public view subject to interpretation and speculation. The divorce rate among European royalty in recent decades suggests that these pressures take a real toll. Against that backdrop, Victoria and Daniel's relationship stands out as something genuinely successful, a marriage that appears to have not just survived but thrived despite the challenges inherent in their position. The wild dance captured on film becomes a symbol of that success, a physical manifestation of the joy and connection they've managed to preserve. Movement and dance have always been expressions of human emotion that transcend language and culture. When people dance together, especially in the uninhibited way Victoria and Daniel were dancing, it requires trust, coordination, a willingness to be vulnerable, and a shared sense of rhythm, both literal and metaphorical. The ease with which they move together suggests years of building that trust, of learning each other's rhythms, of creating a partnership that works both in the formal ballrooms of state occasions and in private moments of spontaneous celebration. Their relationship also represents a broader shift in how modern monarchy functions and how royal couples present themselves. The old model of emotional distance and rigid formality is increasingly seen as outdated and disconnected from the values of contemporary society. People want their royals to be relatable while still maintaining the dignity and gravitas necessary for their roles. Victoria and Daniel have managed to strike that balance better than most, showing that it's possible to be both appropriately regal when duty requires and genuinely human when circumstances allow. This dance footage reinforces that they haven't sacrificed their authentic selves to their roles, that underneath the titles and the protocol, they remain two people who found each other, fell in love, and built something real together. The public response to this footage has been overwhelmingly positive, with people expressing delight at seeing this unguarded moment of royal joy. In an age of carefully curated social media presences and manufactured authenticity, there's something deeply refreshing about accidentally glimpsed genuine happiness. People aren't upset about the invasion of privacy that this footage represents because what it reveals is so clearly positive, so unmistakably real, so fundamentally life-affirming. It reminds us that even people living extraordinary lives, people born or married into positions of tremendous responsibility and public scrutiny, are still fundamentally human, still seeking connection and joy, still needing moments where they can simply let go and be themselves. For Victoria specifically, this footage may be particularly liberating in subtle ways. As a future queen who has spent decades being carefully watched and judged, every moment of spontaneity or genuine emotion that gets captured and celebrated by the public validates her right to be human, her refusal to be reduced to nothing but a symbol or a role. The fact that people are responding with joy rather than criticism to seeing her dance wildly with her husband suggests a public that wants their royals to be real, that appreciates seeing the person alongside the princess, that understands that strength and dignity don't require the suppression of joy or affection. What does this moment of wild dancing during a private vacation ultimately tell us about Crown Princess Victoria and Prince Daniel, and why does it matter beyond simple entertainment value for royal watchers? It tells us that they have built something sustainable, that their relationship is rooted in genuine affection and shared joy rather than just duty or appearance, that they have found ways to preserve their authentic connection despite living under extraordinary scrutiny, and that they approach their roles with enough confidence to occasionally let go of protocol and simply be themselves. It matters because authentic human connection is increasingly rare in public life, because seeing people genuinely happy together reminds us what's possible, because it offers hope that love and joy can survive even the most challenging circumstances, and because it humanizes institutions that can sometimes feel distant and disconnected from ordinary life. This wild dance is more than just a fun video. It's evidence that royalty and humanity aren't mutually exclusive, that duty and joy can coexist, and that two people from very different worlds can build something beautiful together if they're willing to weather the challenges and hold on to what matters most. So here's what we want to know from you. Does seeing moments like this wild dance between Victoria and Daniel change how you view royal families and their relevance in modern society, or do you think these glimpses of humanity make monarchy more relatable and sustainable for future generations?